And then we're headed to Louisville.
We are on the Kentucky River, and we're getting ready to go to Louisville and walk over the bridge over the Ohio River into
Indiana. If that's not confusing.
We'll
let you know how it goes.
Right. And we're going to go to the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. We're going to have some lunch today, going to the Slugger Museum.
Yeah.
And the other one is Angels Envy.
Angels Envy.
And a waterfront park.
Across the bridge.
And what's the Distillery Row, Glenn, you were talking about? Was that Distillery Row?
They call it Whiskey Row, which is where the restaurant we're going to try and eat lunch at is.
But those are a bunch of old distillery buildings.
Old distillery buildings that are converted to shops, restaurants, and different things. So
we'll see about it.
Nice little walking area.
We're going to have a birthday lunch because it's Leanne's birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay. I'm Mike.
I'm Leanne.
I'm Dawn.
And I'm Glenn.
And we are
The Four
Nomads.
On our way to a trip of a lifetime. We're headed to Alaska. Follow
Alaska
us.
or bust.
Watch us. We'll try to put up some videos as we go. This is the library from the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. This is the bridge from Kentucky to Indiana. We're all set for an Angels Envy Distillery tour today, but we stopped by Evan Williams Distillery just to check to see if they had any available tours. They didn't. We just looked around, shot a few pictures. Afterwards, we left and went on our way to the Louisville Slugger Museum. We visited the Louisville Slugger Museum and factory in Louisville, Kentucky. So there's a big bat outside of the building, and we took some pictures alongside of that. That's the trademark of the museum. Once inside, we saw some bats hanging on the wall, and in closer inspection, I noticed a few bats that were for the Atlanta Braves team. Then we saw a plaque that was the man who made the first Slugger bat was John Bowman. We saw how the bats were made from forest to the bat. And then a pile of wood in the factory. And then at the end of the visit, we saw some plaques there where certain famous baseball players in the Hall of Fame were using the Louisville Slugger bat. You can see Henry Aaron, Hank Aaron, I saw Bobby Cox on there, Joe Torre, and just a few others. And that concluded our visit to the Louisville Slugger Museum.
A stands for where you can make bourbon. And do you have a guess where you can legally make it as a product? In the United States. A for America, again. It's our native spirit here. You can make it anywhere in the 50 United States. But 95% of bourbon is made here in Kentucky, with a third of all bourbon being made here in the city of Louisville. So most bourbon is made here, but not all of it, unfortunately. B stands for a brand new charred oak barrel. To be bourbon, you have to age your whiskey in a new oak barrel that has been charred on the inside. C stands for corn. To be considered bourbon, you have to have at least 51% corn in your mash bill. Here at Angels Envy, we follow all of the ABCs of bourbon, follow all the rules and regulations, and make a really delicious, traditional Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. But that is not what we're known for. What we're known for is something called a finish with all of our products. This is where we're going to take our bourbon out of that original charred oak barrel after it's been aged there for about 4 to 6 years, and we actually move it into a secondary vessel. In the case of our bourbon, this is going to be a ruby port wine barrel from the Douro Valley of Portugal. We're going to let our bourbon age there for about 6 more months. What happens here, our delicious bourbon is flooded with the flavor of the port wine, giving it a depth and complexity you don't get anywhere else. This was the innovation, creative vision of our co-founder, Lincoln Henderson, this guy right up here. Lincoln worked for Brown Forman for 38 years. He's in the first inaugural class of the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame, and he won a Lifetime Achievement Award in the bourbon community. Has anyone heard of Lincoln Henderson before? Yeah. If you've been on the tour before, you have. But other than that, anybody heard of him? No. Nobody knows him, right? No one knows his face, and that's okay. You're not supposed to. But you probably know what he's famous for making. Has anyone had Joe and Jack before? How about Jack Samuel Barrel? How about Woodford Reserve? All have his fingerprints all over it, okay? So he had a really prolific, really successful career. After 38 years, what do you all think he did? He retired. That's exactly it. About a year later, year into his retirement, said, Dad, you're not done with bourbon yet. And we have father-son co-founders who started Angels Envy to this day.
After the Angels Envy tour, we had dinner at Doc Crow's to celebrate Leanne's birthday.
We're headed to Louisville to see.
And we're going to take the bridge over to Indiana.
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
We're going to Louisville?
Louisville, Kentucky.
I said Louisville to see.
Oh, to
Oh,
see.
to
I thought you said
see.
Tennessee. We got to edit this now.
We
But
always
here's the
have to
fun
edit
thing.
it.
We